One of the biggest things that sets us apart is we have one of our coaches trade in front of you explaining what their thoughts, what are they looking for, where's their entry, what levels, when do they move their stop loss, where's their take profit, and they kind of walk you through it. We kind of like it better to call them more like follow the leader calls. It's been so highly effective over the last few months. People are getting more and more familiar with how it works and how to shadow one of our coaches effectively. One of the hugest things about it that makes it so powerful is that we have three different people that lead those. And so you've got James Leone, obviously, he's the GOAT. He does insane amounts of pips and really, really well done with his trades. And then you've got myself and Matt. We all have different kind of ways of going about analyzing the chart. We obviously talk to a lot of people who come from other companies and their education. What I am saying is ours is significantly more impactful. And the reason being is because we don't just say, here's the level. We actually share our screen with our chart where we can point to, we can explain why it's our level. So people aren't just copying, they're following, they're learning as they're going. Our ultimate goal here is to create independent traders. We want people to have more independence where they don't rely on a job for income. We have a system where the traders every week, they can actually let us know what they did. When they do that, we're able to see like who's being consistent. 10% of them are still a little bit in the struggle zones, but 90% of them are doing profits every single week. The overall progress is fantastic.
So what are the secrets? How do some of the most successful entrepreneurs find the freedom that we all got into business for in the first place? How did they find the time, energy, and resources to launch and scale strong? And how do entrepreneurs like us align our time, money, and energy in a way that will allow us to reach what we set out to achieve? These are the key questions, and this community will give you the answers. Welcome to the Prosperity Movement. All right, so welcome to the Prosperity U podcast. I have here my co-hosts and compadres, Mr. Zach Schenke, as well as Travis Hunter Hennigan. And today we're going to be talking about our community and results and our approach. And, you know, a big part of that is the coaching, group coaching, one-on-one coaching, and the approach that we take with our students. Like, what are you actually investing into when you invest into our program? What makes our program so different? Yes, the what gets measured gets managed. How we teach people how to treat trading like a business, including a board of directors. Yeah, we actually had a board of directors meeting today, and I look forward to unpacking that. But first and foremost, I'll let Zach take it away from here in terms of kind of outlining what makes us so different than any other platform out there today. And of course, if Travis ever feels, you know, the inclination to chime in, I might also chime in. But he is he's the one who has the floor at first here. Zach, you are the king. Go ahead, take it away.
I wouldn't call me a king. We just had these. King is the worst word to use right now. But that's okay.
Really? Why? What? I need context now.
It's all right. It's all right. I don't need to go into it. It's okay.
You can't start that and not finish it.
There's just the no kings protests that were happening here.
Oh, got you. Okay, yeah, we're not going to stay on that topic. We'll keep going.
That's what I wanted to do. Anyway, but we do have.
I'll land on the Jesus Christ is the King of Kings, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. That like, and he 100%. made us to be little kings and little queens. That's the point of sons and daughters. Sons and daughters of the Most High. There's your context. Now take it away, little king.
Beautiful. Thank you. So we have we have these. Man, you derailing me. Little king, short king. I just think of these.
Well, listen, Jesus, when the word Christian was actually used as a derogatory form to say little Christ, right? And so he's the king.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go, little king. It shouldn't be a bad thing. You should be like, okay, thank you. I'm a little king of Christ.
Awesome.
Okay, take it away.
Back on topic. So yeah, the one thing that we have, and this is probably one of the biggest things that sets us apart, is we have these live sessions where we trade. We have one of our coaches trade in front of you, explaining what their thoughts, what are they looking for, where's their entry, what levels, when did they move their stop loss? Where's their take profit? And they kind of walk you through it. We used to call these copy calls, but I kind of like it better to call them more like follow the leader calls. And it's been so highly effective over the last few months, especially just as people are getting more and more familiar with how it works and how to shadow one of our coaches effectively. And the benefit, one of the hugest things about it that makes it so powerful is that we have three different people that lead those. And so you've got James Leone, obviously, he's the GOAT. Talk about the king. That's he's the best at trading. We learned everything that we know from this guy. He does insane amounts of pips and really, really well done with his trades, obviously. He is very advanced. And so if somebody's brand new, it might be a little over their head, right, until they get the hang of it. However, I mean, we have people on there just this morning. We had someone relatively new who really doesn't she struggles with the tech stuff and she got 40 pips this morning with James, because James was like, look, here's where I'm looking for a buy. I'm waiting for that buy. He took it, she took it. And then when they closed things out, she's like, I got 40 pips off of that. And so it's a beautiful thing to be able to follow a leader like that. And then you've got myself and Matt, and we all have different kind of ways of going about analyzing the chart. And Matt, he does a lot of stuff with certain levels from the day prior and from the morning before the New York Open, and he explains it very, very clearly. In fact, last Friday, he explained it so well. We actually added his follow the leader session into the education. Like people can go and watch it now just for an educational session, and they got like 75 pips off of that. It was a beautiful, beautiful thing. And from what I've heard for myself and the feedback I've gotten for my own sessions is one of the things people like about mine is they're very chill, very relaxed. I'm a very pretty chill guy. And so I like to explain things and go very, very slow, and I take just a few trades an hour and very clear, and people can follow along with me. And so, just on that same Friday that Matt had the 75, we ended up on my session with like 130 or 120, 130, somewhere around there. And it's not because I'm better than Matt, although, no, just kidding. It's not because I'm better than Matt. It's just different times of day. I happened to have the New York Open during that time, which gave us a lot of pips. He traded after.
Hmm. More liquidity. But
Yeah.
you mentioned something that was kind of sticking out to me, which was the fact that it's in the education and people can go and watch it. Well, on the other side, every single session is recorded. So
Yeah.
when we give you the backstage pass and you see we're at like where are we at right now? We're over 30,000 pips this year. Like we average 28,000 pips a year. But right now, because of all these extra sessions that you and Matt are doing, we're sitting at over 30 some odd 30
32,000.
32,000, and we still have November and December left to go. We're still got some of October left. Like this, this is we've smashed the record this year so far, right? So that's exciting. But another thing that's really exciting is we just put together another package for what are we calling that sheet again?
The results highlights.
The results
Result.
highlights. So we've just pulled roughly about $16,000 of highlights. And that's just based off of a $20 lot size. Some of them you can see are calls like with Zach, they're one-on-one calls with Zach, or some of his live private sessions where he's got his broker on screen. It's all like verified. It's as verified as it can get. It's a recording of him raking it in upwards to $2,400 in a session. And so we've got that right now. I don't know how many sessions on that sheet. But also, what we're doing is we've got 3 years backlogged. Is it 3 years of trading so far or going?
Yeah. It's a lot of trading. Yep. It's about
Three years of trading, of recorded trading, roughly, I think. Or maybe we didn't start recording until a certain time. I know we've been working with James for over 3 years, but there was a certain time because at first he didn't want to record them, if I recall. And then he
right.
started recording them. So now we've been recording them for so however long we have. We're gonna get the exact details on that.
2 to 3 years.
2 to 3 years of recorded calls are going to go on this spreadsheet. So we're working on that right now. And so we haven't gotten to the point where we've gone live on YouTube with this stuff or anything yet. We may end up doing that at some point, but for right now, we're slowly letting it out slowly. So, like, if you want to see these trading sessions, if you want to be able to check them out, like, they're all verifiable. Every single one of the pips that we're saying are had are verifiable. They're going to be on this sheet. And so, if you want to get access to that, you can reach out. I think we've got it's called the ticket. It's like the golden ticket link. If you want, you can reach out to us at support@tradedeca.co. You can go to tradedeca.co, and at the bottom right hand corner, there's a chat. You can just go in there and say you want the ticket, and we'll give you that, and we'll get you set up with the spreadsheet so that you can actually see it for yourself. It's all verifiable, FTC compliant, you name it, across the board. So anyways, all that being said, I'm going to let Zach continue moving here with his thought process, and we'll keep going, and then we'll get to the point of talking about what makes the coaching so special over here. Not only the what gets measured gets managed through third-party verification tools, but yeah, all the other good stuff.
Well, the only other thought that I had was, we obviously talk to a lot of people who come from other programs, other companies and their education. And what a lot of these companies do, and then I'll tell you why ours is so different. What a lot of them do is they have a program that they call like a signals program. And it's usually some kind of group chat where whoever's doing the trading, they put in there like they just type out the level and the signal, right? They say, hey, I'm going to take a buy at this level. And then it's up to everyone else to like go on their MT5 or go on their whatever platform and place the pending order, and then they're like waiting for it to take place kind of thing. Now, I'm not saying that that is the worst thing in the world. However, what I am saying is ours is significantly more impactful. And the reason being is because we don't just say here's the level. We actually share our screen with our chart where we can point to an EMA or whatever we're looking at. We can explain why it's our level. So people aren't just copying, right? They're following. And they're not only following, but they're learning as they're going. Because our ultimate goal here is to create independent traders. We want people to have more independence where they don't rely on a job for income. They don't have to ask permission to go on vacation and use their time somewhere else, right? We're building that independence. You can't do that with signals. You're still dependent on whoever's giving the signal, right? So that's the beauty of what we have is we don't just say the signal. We say, here's the signal, here's why, here's what I'm waiting for. It has to do it this way. And then even while we're in the trade, we say, okay, now is the time to lock in a break even with your stop loss. Now is the time to move your stop loss to this point, this point, this point, etc. And so it's way
And
more comprehensive.
the odd, it does happen. Oh, I'm about to take a loss.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It does happen. They do happen. But why don't you chat a little bit more about the 90% profit rate that we also have within the community that is being, like, again, third party verified through this process. But, like, again, the difference, I think we should also identify the difference between a win ratio and a profit rate, right? Because, like, win
Yeah.
ratio, we're aiming for 70% win ratio and 1.2% hold percentage. And a lot of times, can that not land us in a 90% profit rate?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, because so the way we look at it is you want to look at your week, your trading week. You can't look at it day by day because every once in a while you will have a bad day. It's like if you're trying to lose weight. If you step on the scale every single day, you're going to see the little fluctuations, and sometimes that can be discouraging. But if you step on the scale once a week and you did well, you're going to see the overall progression, right? So it's the same
I
thing
need to
with,
confess something to you guys.
oh no,
I'm
did you
back
get
in the
over?
two hundo clubo.
Oh man. Oh man.
It's
Oh.
pure muscle, don't worry.
Was that checking every day or is that the once a week?
Well, I've checked once a day for a week. It is, yeah. So let's move on, all right? It was a quick session.
Let's talk more about this, Travis. What did you do? What? I'm just kidding. Um, but so what we do is we have a system where the traders every week they can actually let us know what they did. Okay, they tell us what their weight was on the scale for the week, and so when they do that, we're able to see like who's being consistent, who's doing really really well, and 90% of our folks are reporting a positive week. 10% of them are still a little bit in the struggle zone. Some of those are new people. Some of those are people with really bad habits that we're working to break with them. But 90% of them are doing profits every single week. That doesn't mean they don't take a loss within that week, right? It just means the overall progress is fantastic.
Which tells us
Yeah.
a lot about the coaching because ultimately, if we talk about a lot of people, there are two kinds of people that do show up on our doorstep. We've got the first type of person who is a brand new person who's coming in and they might experience, new things with technology, but you hear about the lady who got the 40 pips, which is awesome. And, there's no necessarily habits that we need to work through or break through out of the gates. There may be things that we see later and we figure that out. Or there's another type of person who has come here, and we've got people that have come here with losses of upwards to $200,000, like coming in here with over $200,000 of like and then the first question I have is why are you still wanting to learn this after that? I mean, obviously you know that it's more than possible, and you're still here for that reason, but like after all that, well, they're committed. Man, talk about $200,000 worth of learning. And then we work with them to break those habits of what caused that. And so, like, I'm not saying that everybody comes in here with 200,000, but some people are break-even traders. Some people are people that have just experienced nothing but loss, frustrated with previous experiences and frustrated with previous organizations that they've been with, feeling jaded, feeling even resentful towards what they've experienced, feeling like they've been duped, like they've been taken advantage of. Those scenarios are really tough. And I had one of those coaching sessions today with an individual, and he said, by the way, that if anybody could actually learn from it and like benefit from it, that we're welcome to share. I won't share it publicly on YouTube or anything like that, but if you ever wanted to see that coaching call, we have a student who has in two sessions that I sat with him, one uh, very similar to Leighton Williams, which we do have an open video for you to check out from him, not listening, kind of trying to pave his own path to the point where I got him to commit to a certain thing. Now he got certified, and now he's been certified with that. And within his first week of certification, he blew the account. So now we're working through that. And I know it's like these tweaks that we're talking about, they're so like I know that in the next 21 days, there's no reason for us not to show up with him having withdrawal or in the process of going through a withdrawal. Like there's
Yeah.
genuinely no reason for that. And so James sat with him first. Well, we all did. So myself, Matt, and James sat with him, and we treated it like a board meeting, like a genuine board meeting, board of directors. We were all chiming in. And it came down to at the end where I let him know, this individual, I said, listen, you've got 3 votes on your board. If you choose to go, because he was pressing against it. So I said, if you choose to keep on going down the route that you're talking about, and sometimes I have to be firm. Love is sometimes firm. I said, if you choose that route, you just need to know. Because like how we work here at Trideca, like when it comes to company decisions, we don't move forward unless Travis, myself, and Zach actually we're all in together. Like
In that
we don't move
order.
forward. Hey, in what
In
order?
that order.
Which was the order? Did I say?
Me first, of course.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, all right. So, anyways, without a unanimous decision, we move to prayer. That's what we typically do. If we're not all in a unanimous decision, we move to prayer until everybody's on the same page. Unless there have been times where we know that somebody can't be there to do it and we need to make a decision and it needs to be because we just can't and we inform the other person, but we know it's the wisest thing. I don't think we've ever had a scenario where we've came back to inform the other person. They were like, "Why didn't you include me in that?" We've never had that, but we always like when it comes to high tension or any kind of scenarios, disagreements especially, unless we're all on the same page, we move to prayer. But there are code reds that sometimes we do need to figure something out. So just being real.
So
But
this individual, so you three, you, James, and Matt were telling him one thing, and he was trying to say, no, 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 I
well,
want to do
to be
something else.
fair, James did already leave, but I did say that I know for sure that if James was to come back and listen to everything that we just told you, that we would have a unanimous, that everyone would be in agreement with what's being expressed. So James wasn't actually on the call, but I know we would have all three, but I also don't want to bother James with him to have to go and watch the
Yeah,
video, right? Because
yeah,
James got a lot going on. So James started with his thing, and then I had some questions for him after James left, and then that turned into like it was a half an hour booking that turned into about an hour and a half, like reality checks and balances. And then it came down to me having to say, listen, you've got a unanimous vote here. And if you genuinely choose, like, I can't tell you because this is a different business model in that case. But you have a board of directors that just gave you instruction of how you're going to pull money and then continue to grow into James level. But first and foremost, this is your money. This is your money. And he said, well, I don't think it's a money thing. And I think it's more of a discipline thing on this. And I said, I, I disagree. Here's why. You've yet to pay yourself. So here's the deal. No reason for you not to be like genuinely in profit and to the point where this is a serious, like, I think he already agrees that this is the best investment that he's ever made into himself. However, it even becomes better when you're actually pulling the cash. Come on, let's be real.
Yeah.
Right. So
It really changes the
yeah,
game. It
yeah.
really does. I first off, just hearing about you had we had three coaches. One of them didn't last the whole hour and a half because he had other things to do, but you still had two other coaches, one of them being the CEO of the company, who are willing to spend an hour and a half with you because you're struggling with trading. That's the kind of attention that our traders can expect. It's really mind blowing. It's really mind blowing. So that where else are you going to get that?
Yeah,
No one
but
else does.
that's also the point here is that we not only treat you how to what gets measured gets managed, but you literally get to a point where you get board of director review of your progress. Like that's treating trading like a business. That's a round table. That's truly like where are you going to get that genuinely? I don't know of anywhere else that exists. We help people like right now we've got this fast start focus. We've been calling it the CEO fast start focus where I sit with people once a week for their first month while we get them lined up with what happened with Matt. So Matt is now his point. I'm there now for accountability, and we have a private chat between us. We have a coach's corner, is what we call it, and we also have these group coaching calls where we want you to engage. We want you to come up with your own board of directors as well. That you are having people that you trust that are successful within the community, and you might be jumping on live trading calls with them. We teach you guys how to like treat this thing like liftoff, right? Like genuinely, like nobody likes to hear about how do we put on a seat belt, right? At the beginning of every flight, but it happens on every flight. Why? And then the pilot and the co-pilot, they do the exact same thing in the cockpit. And the home, what do they call home? The one on the radio. What do they usually call that? Houston, you know, Houston or wherever. You know, everybody can hear everything and they're saying it out loud and they're consulting. So if something's wrong, somebody's saying it. So when you're in front of the charts now, I can't tell you how impactful it is when you've got 3 to 4 or 5 people on the call and you're saying things out loud because you see divergence, because you see this, because you see that. I've been on calls with Matt where we'll talk about divergence and confluence and all that kind of stuff. And then I'm like, hey, Matt, oh, easy. Before you call that one, what about this? You know, before we make that decision, what about this? What about this? What about this? That's power. And we help guide you to that kind of power. So,
Kind of reminds me of a story from Tony Robbins back when he was first getting moderately successful. And I think it was like his first $1 million that he made. And he's around these guys that are going on this really awesome vacation. They're like, hey, you should come with us. He's like, I can't afford that. And they're like, well, that's why you need to come with us. The idea is to be around people who are going to be able to elevate you. And so there's 100 ways to say it, but my favorite is straight to the point. It's like if your top 5 people you spend your time with are all a bunch of party goers and drunkards and stuff, you're probably going to be the number 6. But if you're around a bunch of successful XYZ, whatever, so let's say in this case, if you're around the top 5 people you spend your time with are successful traders, you're probably going to be the 6th. So the community that you're in anywhere in life, in any part of life, is super important to be picky about.
Yeah, and I hope you see that the love and due care that we have in all of this, even just in how we're describing this. And again, like if you want to see that, you can reach out to us. And then at the same time, we want to give you a gift regardless. One, we'll give you the gift with that ticket. If you want to see that interview on that coaching session where I did put on some stern love with that student and he has green lighted, what does that tell you? Why would he green light it if he didn't feel that he got something out of it? Right. And then the next one would be the backstage pass. And kudos to Travis for putting all this stuff together in such a fashion that is so sharp and very. I've heard this week from multiple even traders that are successful that are coming through minor success. Obviously, not obviously if you're a successful trader and you're trying to come here, like these are guys that have had $10,000 trade days and all that kind of stuff, and they're not exactly where they want to be still, but they're literally going through this information saying, wow, they've never seen anything so thorough and intentional and that kind of stuff. So if you want to get the backstage pass again, um, full Monty maybe is what we'll say. The because if you want to get the ticket, you want to get the spreadsheet, you want to get the what else did I say? The interview or the coaching session, and then the backstage pass. Just ask for the full Monty. I think it comes down to 3 links, and I have the full Monty set up for you. And so you can just go on tradedeca.co and just put full Monty into a little chat bubble and give your information there, or you can text full Monty, or you can email full Monty, and we'll get the full Monty to you. So yeah, anything else, guys?
Nope. Good to go.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you. We want to wish you all the best in health, wealth, and relationships. God bless you. Bye for now. Cheers.
Adios.
Bye.
All right.